So for our second day building equations, we'll be looking at the other problems on the worksheet. These ones are the tables and points. Once again, we're going to be looking at our three linear forms. Slope-intercept form, which is the form we need to finish all of our homework problems in. Point-slope form, which will be the parentheses. The form that we use to get our equation at least initially built. And then standard form, which we're going to pretty much basically avoid at this time because it is not important. So we're going to be looking at this form right here. It is the best for tables and points. So when we have a table, we're going to be using our point slope form, which means we need to get the slope m and a point from our problem. Find the slope, that is our rate of change, is how one side changes compared to the other. We just need to find two set of points, two rows, and see how they change. From 10 to 19, that's a positive 9. From 4 to 7, that's a positive 3. Y over x. So this slope is 3 over 1. So far, what we have is this in our equation. X1 and Y1 end up being our point. We get to pick which point from our table. Doesn't matter which one, pick the one that looks the easiest. This one appears to be the easiest, so we're going to use that one. So our point is 4, 10. X goes in for x. Let's get a little clever. Bring this down here. Y goes in for y, of course. So the 10 is going to go right here. The 4 is going to go right there. Notice that the minus sign is already there. Even though both of these numbers are positive, because the equation starts off with a minus sign, that minus sign still has to be there. So we have 10 and we have 4. This is our linear equation. Technically, we could end our problem right here. We could graph this, we could use this, but on our homework, I do want you to end the problem in slope-intercept form. So we're going to take the steps to get y by itself. So we're going to distribute the 3. Gives us y minus 10 equals 3x minus 12. We add 10 to both sides, and we get y equals 3x minus 2. And there is our equation in slope-intercept form. We'll try it again. First thing, gotta find that slope. Then we'll select a point. So from 2 to 14, that is 12. From negative 5 to 10, that's 15. So our slope is 12 over 15. We're going to simplify that. 3 goes into both of these. We get 4/5. Write down our point slope form in its general form with nothing plugged in. We now have y minus something, 4/5 x minus something. Again, we could pick either point. So if we want to, we could pick the negative 5 and the 2 if they're smaller numbers, but if we want to avoid the negative, we could pick the 10 and 14. For now, I'm going to avoid the negative. So our point is 10, 14. 14 is the y, so it goes here. 10 is the x, so it goes here. Now we have to get it into slope-intercept form. To do that, we have to distribute the 4/5. So we still have the y minus 14. 4/5 times x is 4/5 x. When we multiply 4/5 times 10, take 4 times 10, 40. 40 divided by 5 gives us 8. We have the minus sign. We're going to add 14 to both sides. We get 4/5 x plus 6. One more table problem. We won't be able to avoid the negatives on this one, so we're going to have to pick a point with negatives. M, first thing, from -1 to -11, that's a decrease in 10. From -3 to 2, that's an increase of 5. So we have -10 over 5, which is -2. Our point slope form in general terms. Have to pick a point. Even though both of these numbers are negative, they're smaller, so I'd rather deal with them. Y minus -1. We have our slope of -2, and then we have x minus -3. I know you're probably all already saying it to me right now on your side. These two negatives and these two negatives can form a positive. You guys are right. That's why we always write more than what we need. That way we can see what happens. So those two numbers end up becoming pluses, because two negatives make positive. This is why we have to take the opposite sign of our points when we were graphing it. So now that we have it, we have to get it into slope-intercept form. So we're going to distribute the -2. So we get y plus 1 equals -2x minus, oops, not 3, I had to multiply it, sorry. -2 times 3 gives us -6. We subtract 1 from both sides. Y equals -2x minus 7. When they're in points, we can actually approach it the exact same way we've been approaching it with the table. 2, 1, 6, 17, so it's exactly as it was before. But I do want to show you the other technique that we talked about. It is a lot, it does make it more work. It's called the slope equation. The slope equation is m is equal to y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So these points are x's and y's. We would make a choice which one is 2's, which ones are the 1's. So I'm going to make this one the 2's, these the 1's. They have to be a pair, so if that one's a 2, that one's a 2. Then we plug it in, so we get 17 minus 1. Because the y's. Then I take x2, which is 6, minus 2. I get 16 over 4, which is just 4. We would get the exact same thing if we go in the table. That's why I kind of like the table better. 1, 17, it's 16. 2 to 6 is 4. 16 over 4, and we get 4 for our slope. Either way, we're going to use our point slope form. We know what our slope is. Slope is 4. Now we have to choose one of our points. 2, 1 or 6, 17. Let's choose the 2, 1. 1 is y. 2 goes with the x. Distribute, we get y minus 1 equals 4x minus 8. Add 1. Y equals 4x minus 7. I'm going to try one more point. We're going to try this one. Again, we could just go the table method. -6, 15. -1 and 10. Or we can use our slope equation. I'm going to do both for learning purposes. You can pick either technique. I think they're both valid. So I have the x's and the y's. I have to pick which ones are 2's, which ones are 1's. It does not matter. I'm going to pick these to be the 2's this time, these to be the 1's. I get 15 minus 10, y2, y1, x2 is negative 6 minus negative 1, again, because the minus sign is already in the problem. I get 5 on the top. I get negative 5 on the bottom, which means I have a slope of negative 1. I would see the exact same thing if we just do the table. From 15 to 10, that's a minus 5. From negative 6 to 1, that's a positive 5. So where the negative is flipped from where we have it over here, but either way that simplifies to a negative 1. Use our point slope form. Y minus equals negative 1, x minus something. Pick a point. I'm going to pick the negative 110, smaller numbers. So I get the 10 here. I get the negative 1 there. It does make that a plus sign inside the problem. I'm going to distribute. Gives us negative 1x. Of course, we can just put negative x minus 1. Add 10. Add 10. Y equals negative x plus 9. That is how we build linear equations from tables and points.